entire country per se, I mean, huge challenges vis-a-vis a regular board. अभी तो 12th class में आपका student September exam is like shock therapy for many people. Delhi में we still blessed because there are teachers, there are systems and processes, big cities, but at smaller locations there are issues. So commerce, आप तो commerce इतना lead कर रहे हैं, मतलब commerce को has become the toughest thing in the sense
there are only 400 seats, and it being a central university, they cannot make reservation for the Delhi's.
जी.
You see, students from all India, they come. Everybody has a dream to go to SRC.
Discipline and will ensure regular work, you don't need a coaching institute. Then all you should be doing is take the study material from one of the coaching institutes and prepare on that basis.
Well, I would say why not entrepreneurship? Look, when you join any...
Students commit a large number of mistakes and to call out a few of them, one of the biggest thing is they ignore their basics. This paper is all about, all the aptitude exams actually are all about your basic stuff which you studied in 9th and standard, and as long as you have those basics of fundamentals in place, you can do well. The second mistake is there is no consistency of effort. They will put in 12 hours over 2 days and then forget about it for up to 4 hours every day, and you will be able to do well in any aptitude exam. Third mistake which some commit is they focus excessively on the quantity of material and not on the quality. One of the issues always comes out is every aptitude test has a certain level. You need to prepare for that level of questions and not go exceedingly high in terms of the level of difficulty, because that will be a complete waste of time. Okay? So please make sure
मैं माहिर बन जाऊंगा, या तो मंजिल मिल जाएगी या अच्छा मुसाफिर बन जाऊंगा, या तो मंजिल मिल जाएगी या अच्छा मुसाफिर बन जाऊंगा.
It's the same familiar time of the year when the feelings of stress and anxiety continuously pop up, adding to our mother brains. It's the time of racing heartbeats, churning stomachs, and sleep disorders. As in just a couple of months, our class 12 marks will eventually determine our future. And as prophesied, these marks will either make us or will pose challenges in our future plans.
So what is the solution? What does my future hold for me? How do I achieve that perfect score? Who will mentor me?
You're right, Alicia. Aren't we all going through the same turmoil? Don't we all have the same queries? But let's not lose hope. No reason for despair. Today's platform will provide all of us with path-breaking clarity on reaching the perfect 100. On behalf of GD Goenka Public School, Sector 48 Gurgaon, we extend a very warm welcome to all of you in our mega event, Perfectio-2016. A mega event as we have more than 80 schools and a record number of more than 800 students attending this event from all across North India. Perfectio-2016 is a shared platform for commerce students and their mentors. A platform where students of commerce stream will be guided to break through the limits of 95 to 99 marks and reach the ultimate goal of 100. A platform where students get a chance to speak to their mentors, the authors of their subject books, interact with them, get their doubts addressed, and get counsel.
A morning as auspicious as this one needs the presence of the Almighty, We bow our heads in reverence to God as we invoke His blessings. Keeping with tradition, we begin today's program with the garlanding of the Ganesha idol and the lighting of the lamp. May I request our principal ma'am, Mrs. Anuradha Handa, to accompany our esteemed guests to light the lamp.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvighram Kuru me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada.
And the light of this lamp guide our path.
On behalf of GD Goenka Public School, Sector 48, Gurgaon, we extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished guests. It's our privilege today to have amongst us eminent authors and experts from different fields of commerce who will enlighten us and help us untangle the knots in our brains and guide us to break through the limits of achieving the perfect score of 100. So let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. G S Gerewal. G S Gerewal is an eminent author of books in accountancy. We also have with us Professor J.P. Goyal. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Professor J.P. Goyal is a renowned author of books in economics. We also have with us Mr. R.K. Khosla. Sir is the author of several books in accountancy. Mr. Naveen Sandhu. Sir is the author of books in economics. Jay, author of several books in accountancy. Relations at Parul University. Thank you, ma'am. We're certain that we will have a very engaging series of sessions today that will benefit all of us present here.
We would also like to welcome all teachers and young dreamers and aspirants of class 12 from across 80 renowned schools from all over North India to Perfectio-2016 and wish that the program is an enriching experience for all.
She sets the benchmark for perfection. She believes that in each child resides an innate talent and capability to soar high. May I please have the honor of inviting our principal ma'am to address the audience.
Enlightened and ignited minds grace our campus today. It is also a matter of pride for all of us, not only for our students, but the students of the entire Delhi, NCR, Northern India, coming from various states and being here with us under one roof at Sector 48, GD Goenka, Gurgaon, to interact with authors of repute and caliber. I am certain that this day will remain in the memory of every student and teacher who is present here. Strengthening the fundamentals and providing conceptual clarity through practical experiences is the way education is imparted at GD Goenka. We as a school believe that children must carry in them a desire to strive for excellence in all their endeavors. This quest for excellence becomes all the more important in academics as it determines the direction that their lives would take in future. The senior secondary years are extremely crucial. If correct guidance and direction can be provided to the students at this stage and a platform created for them to clear all their doubts and apprehensions, it will go a long way in ensuring their bright future.
जिनकी किताबों का एग्जाम्स के टाइम स्टूडेंट्स को अक्सर आता है ख्याल, जिनकी किताबों का स्टूडेंट्स को एग्जाम्स के टाइम अक्सर आता है ख्याल, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, प्लीज वेलकम ऑन स्टेज डॉक्टर GS गरेवाल.
Mr. Radha, Dr. Sunil Tripathi, Dr. Goel, Mr. Rajesh Mishra, Mr. Pavan Dibedi, Vikas Vijayji. There are so many names to take. I'm sorry if I missed someone. And dear teachers and students, good morning to everyone. At the outset, I must congratulate the school management and also thank them, especially the principal ma'am, for arranging for caring for the students and arranging this knowledge sharing meet with you all. And I congratulate you everyone for choosing commerce stream, because it is one of the best streams to be in. We all know that GDP growth is expected at about 6% now, downgraded. But still 6%, it is still the economy which is growing at a very good pace when we compare it with other parts of the world. And commerce, especially accountancy, is basis for any activity, be it commercial or non-commercial. Yes, what Mr. Rajesh Mishra said about law, it is no doubt, it is one of the best professions to be in. And if I regret of not having done any courses, law. Because along with law, if you are accountant as well, that I'll say that if you are a chartered accountant and also a law graduate, वो कहते हैं सोने पे सुहागा, because accountants are very comfortable with figure work, and when it gets the tooth of law, that person becomes a professional par excellence. Harish Salve is one such example. He is a chartered accountant and a lawyer, and one of the most sought after. You know, if you have a conference with him, he will decide whether he wants to take the case or not. And for that conference, he will charge you about 2 lakh rupees. Anyway, but right now, our target is board exams. Right? Is it not?
Yes.
ये हमारे दोस्त ने एक बहुत बढ़िया बात कही, विशन सिंह बेदी क्रिकेटर, कहते हैं ज्ञान को प्राप्त करने के लिए ध्यान की एकाग्रता जरूरी है। ज्ञान को प्राप्त करने के लिए ध्यान की एकाग्रता जरूरी है, और ध्यान को वश में करने के लिए खतरे की मौजूदगी जरूरी है। खतरा क्या है आपके लिए? बोर्ड एग्जाम। But don't worry at all. Difficulty is only a state of mind, nothing more. Nothing is difficult. Difficult को, word को अपने CPU से बाहर निकाल दो. Think everything is normal. And keep your mind absolutely cool. And you will see what wonder it makes. Mother Teresa said, if you can smile at life, the life will smile at you. Zindagi yahi hai. One advice I'll make before I start talking about the subject. After your board exams, choose the stream, choose the profession which you want to be in. Don't be guided by your friends, your parents. If you don't like law, don't do it. If you don't like CA, don't do it. Because ultimately you have to enjoy your life also. And when you are in a profession which you like, you are going to excel also. After all, excellence, what we want to achieve. What is 99 marks, 100 marks? What we want to achieve is excellence. So that goal should be there throughout your life. I am very happy to see that there are so many students and teachers here. Even the gallery upstairs is filled. And I see the enthusiasm that you people have with you. What I will say, knowledge is one of the most important aspects. Marks will automatically flow. CBSE changed the pattern of the questions. Now, the questions are application based. Most of the questions. And when application based questions are attempted, that means all of you must have concept clarity. Because language used may be a bit confusing. But once you have the concept clarity, you will obviously be able to do that question. So number one, knowledge. My experience is, and I'm sure all the teachers will have the same experience, and you will vouch, most of the students, they don't want to write. Am I correct? They want to read only. But dear students, this practice you will have to do away with. You must write a lot. I'm not talking about accountancy alone, be it economics, be it business mathematics, be it business studies or mathematics. You practice a lot by writing. Because in the examination hall, you are not going to get computers. You will have to write with your own hands. One of the normal complaints which students make after the examination is that paper lengthy tha. This is very normal. Paper is actually not lengthy. We as students do not have the writing habit. If we develop that, you will find that you have time to revise also. So in these 2 months, 2.5 months that you have, Do lot of writing. Say even in the theory paper, business studies, students tend to repeat. They repeat their assertions, which is not required at all. You have to stage this, any assertion you want to make, you make it only once. And that perfection you will get only once, only when you have a writing habit. There's so many teachers here, authors, you ask them, they will say we write 20 pages a day, we write 15 pages a day. At this age also, even I write about 10-15 pages a day with my own hand. And that when you write the answers in your own handwriting and you read it again, you will find that where you are repeating, where you are writing is excessive, so that precision will come. Do lot of practice, writing practice, and do practice papers. Especially the CBSE sample paper. That is a kind of guidance that what kind of questions may be asked in the main exam. One thing I would like to share with you, that after your exam, each exam, don't discuss the paper with anyone. None of your friends. Because as students, we do not know what we have written is correct or not. And we are guided by the majority view. And you think that you have not done your question properly. So what effect it has? It has bad effect on your subsequent papers. Whatever you have written in the exam, it cannot be undone. Is that correct? So why to discuss? Why bother about it? Your duty is to study and do well, and rest leave to the Almighty. I will share an incident with you. In CA exam, getting above 60 marks is a very credible achievement. One of our friends, he took 3 papers and 4th paper he dropped. He said that I have dropped it because first 3 papers I did not do well. As a result, he failed. And when the result came, in all the 3 papers he had above 60. So on what basis he made the assessment? On the basis of discussions he had with his friends. So please do not discuss it. After all the papers are over, do as you like. I will share with you the markings. This is the marks allotted by CBSE. You can see partnership account 35 marks, company accounts 25 marks, analysis 12 marks, cash flow 8 marks. It conveys a very deep meaning. And what is the meaning? That do not do selective study. Suppose in partnership accounts, you find dissolution difficult and you decide to leave it. And many questions come from dissolution. Right? So do not do selective study. This is the purpose why all the chapters, say within partnership, was clubbed as one. Any chapter you are not thorough with right now, I will request you to do it again. You have difficulty, you ask your teachers. Right? But do not leave any topic out of this syllabus. And similarly in company accounts, you have the new chapter, conversion of debentures into shares and debentures. So don't leave that. Students find a lot of difficulty in ESOPs. But even if you find it difficult, or I will say you find it not easy, difficult word should not be here. The difficult word जो है CPU से बाहर, आपका CPU है ना ये, इससे आपने एकदम बाहर करना है उसको. Everything is very easy. So अगर आपको लगता है कि ESOP is not easy, ask your teachers. But it is very, very simple. And accountancy, in fact, the entire accountancy is very simple. It's very, very logical. Now I will talk about some common errors which students commit in the examination. Just keep the partnership accounts. Sometimes it is given in the type of calculation of interest on drawings. It is written 10% per annum. That means period has to be considered. And when it is 10% per annum word is not attached to it, it means that period is to be ignored. In a hurry, you see, we forget this. CBSE gives you first 15 minutes to read the question paper. Read that question during that period, question paper very, very thoroughly, and determine what is the requirement of the question and answer that only. Suppose in your company accounts, you have a question, show the share capital of the company in the balance sheet. So how do you attempt it? You prepare the extract of the balance sheet, and below that you make notes to account. Right? But suppose the question says prepare the notes to account, then you don't have to prepare the extract of the balance sheet. You only prepare the note to account. Not that your marks will get deducted for this, but you have wasted your 2 minutes at least in preparing the extract. You can use that in some other question. So requirement of the question is important. I'll share with you the last year's board examination question, where it was a question on calls in advance and calls in arrears. There the requirement was pass the journal entry. Pass the journal entry. That means only one entry was to be passed. Students who passed more than one entry, their solution was taken to be incorrect, because the requirement was pass the journal entry. So read the question, each and every question, very, very carefully, and answer what is required by it. In CBSE, marking scheme is prepared, and for each, say, adjustment or each step, marks are allotted. Suppose you have to make a balance sheet, and if the balance sheet is not agreeing, not tallying, don't bother about it. Maximum it will carry 1 mark. But in the process, you may spend about 4-5 minutes on it, and may not be able to do another question of say 4 marks or 6 marks or 8 marks. So go to the other question. Time permits, come back. But believe you me, once you have developed the writing habit, you will have adequate time. Adequate time. And this development of writing habit will not only help you in your board exams, but in your professional exams as well. Because when you go to do CA or law or CS, there also you have to write. And while you are practicing, use calculator as less as possible. Because again, in the exam, you are not going to get calculators. Attempt is always there in the board exams, that calculations be kept simple. Sometimes they consume time. So better practice. Then appropriation and charge, there is a difference. Interest on partner's loan is always a charge. And interest on capital, it may be a charge or it may be a appropriation. It depends on what the question says. That capital, interest on capital is to be allowed, whether there is loss or profit. So read that part very carefully. And when it is a charge, it must be debited to profit and loss. So we are going to discuss partnership also slightly later, but let me concentrate only on the common errors that we commit. In the past adjustments, verify whether capitals are fluctuating or fixed. So if they are fixed, adjustment is to be through the current account. And if they are fluctuating, it has to be through the capital account. So this you must determine in the very first 15 minutes when you read the question paper. Then guaranteed partners will get guaranteed amount of the profit, whether the firm earns profit or not. You see, you must follow a simple and understandable process here. When there is a loss and partner is guaranteed profit, I'll take a very simple example. When there is a loss, profit and loss appropriation account will not come into picture. So loss has to be distributed in the profit and loss account itself, right? But then simpler, second process is that the guaranteed partner is to be given the guaranteed profit. But there is a loss. Suppose there is a loss, distribute loss to all the partners in the profit sharing ratio. And thereafter, debit other partners' capital accounts with the guaranteed profit and the loss already debited to the guaranteed partner. So that would be simpler. If you make adjustment in the journal entry of all the 3-4 accounts, then it will become complicated. You will have to do a lot of calculations. Journal entries, you must revisit again. Because in the last year's paper, most of the questions, journal entries were asked. So journal entries anyway is a base for accountancy. So you must revisit journal entries chapter. आप realization account, revaluation account बनाते हैं, उसकी journal entries बनाओ. Say, I'll go a step further in the past adjustment. What happens is, you prepare an analytical chart and pass the journal entry, adjusting entry. Why? Because the question's requirement is pass the adjusting entry. Suppose the question says pass the adjusting entries. That means you will not be making the analytical table. You will be passing the entry for each and every adjustment. So, journal becomes the utmost important. Although you have studied it in class 11, but then it is a base. You see, revaluation account, realization account has been prepared based on journal entries only. So in this case, we will be using profit and loss adjustment account. Ultimate effect will be same. And while calculating goodwill, abnormal losses are added to profit and abnormal profits are deducted. Because the aim is to reach the figure which a business will normally earn. So abnormal profits and losses are adjusted. हमेशा ध्यान रखना, these are the mistakes which are normally committed by students during the exam. Why? Because there is a lot of tension when you are in the examination hall. और माइंड को बिल्कुल ठंडा रखना है. Keep it cool. Even if there is some confusion, you are think that you are not able to do it, just put your head on the desk relax for 5 minutes. And after that, start doing the question paper again. This is my personal experience. When I was doing my CA in the mathematics paper, when it came before me, I blanked out. I said, I won't be able to do it. There you are not allowed to go out of the examination hall for 1 hour. So I could not give my paper also back and go out. I just relaxed there. Then I said, what I'm doing while relaxing? Let me try again. And I could complete the paper 10 minutes before. And I got very good marks in it because my concentration level came back. Never lose your concentration level in the exam. और वो तब होगा जब आप बिल्कुल फोकस्ड होगे उसके ऊपर. जैसे अभी बोला उन्होंने राजेश जी ने कि क्रिसमस बहुत आएंगी लाइफ में, न्यू ईयर्स भी बहुत आएंगे, 1 साल छोड़ दो. और वो भी अब कब? December 23rd, and exams are likely to be in the month of March. So hardly 2-3 months. उसके बाद दोबारा से लाइफ नॉर्मल. Because life, all your life is not for studying, it's for enjoying as well. And that is why I said choose the profession which you like so that you enjoy life also and excel also in that. In partnership accounts, attention should be paid to of and from while calculating sacrificing ratio. Normally, student will not care about this. वो सीधा दिमाग में वही होता है कि इतना परसेंट. If the question says that so much amount, so much profit share of A has been given to B, that means if it is 1/4, then 1/4 share has been given. If it is 1/4 from, that means out of 1.5 minus 1/4, because 1/4 share has been given. So just keep track of this. Share of goodwill not brought by new partner in cash. The amount not brought by the new partner is debited to capital account or current account. You can use both. But if in existing partner shares is to be determined on the basis of incoming partner share, capital brought in and the new partner does not bring goodwill, then it should always be adjusted through the current account. Because if you debit incoming partner's capital account, that will get disturbed. And capitals of the existing partners is to be calculated on the basis of incoming partner's capital. Realization expenses. Most of us face problem here. एक प्रिंसिपल ध्यान रखना कि रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट उतने अमाउंट से डेबिट होगा जो फर्म बेयर कर रही है. For this, language is very important. About 4 years ago, there was a question that partner B has been paid remuneration of 15,000 rupees to carry out dissolution, and expense of 18,000 was incurred. So the confusion was whether realization account is to be debited by 15,000 or by 33,000. Now look at the language. Partner B is paid remuneration. The question is silent on expenses. So that means expenses must be borne by the firm. So entry would be realization account debit by 33,000. So if the question says partner is being paid remuneration and has to bear the expenses also. So that means whatever is amount payable to the partner, in this case say 15,000, the realization account should be debited by 15,000. So language of the question is important. So in the first 15 minutes when you read the question paper, determine if there is a question, determine the amount which is to be debited to realization account. Dissolution may, if the value of the asset is not given, it should be taken that it has not realized any amount. Although the instructions of CBSE is that realized value of the asset should be given. So sometimes if the question in which realized value is not given, so in that case, take it as the asset has not realized any amount. Don't go by your own reasoning. कि लैंड सपोज लैंड है उसकी वैल्यू नहीं दी तो ये लैंड तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता कि जीरो हो, है ना? तो उसके बाद पर फिर भी what we have to do is to follow the instructions given by CBS. In case of companies, always excess application money is first applied towards share capital and then towards premium. And once the amount received and credited to securities premium can be used only for the purposes stated in section 52(2). Right? So that means if the shares are forfeited, premium received and credited to securities premium account cannot be reversed. So in that case, forfeited shares account will be credited by the amount received by the company. And application money, excess application money should be adjusted towards allotment money unless the question states that it is to be adjusted towards calls as well. ये ध्यान रखना, क्वेश्चन साइलेंट है तो आपने अलॉटमेंट मनी के बाद जितना एक्सेस एप्लीकेशन मनी है इट शुड बी रिफंडेड बैक. और अगर क्वेश्चन कहता है कि कॉल्स में भी एडजस्ट हो जाएगा, देन कॉल्स इन एडवांस अकाउंट, दैट लीड्स टू अनदर थिंग. कॉल्स इन एरियर्स account is to be used, the student may or may not use. Calls in arrears हैं, बेशक वो allotment money में पड़े रहें या first call second call में. But if the question says that calls in arrears account is to be used, then it must be transferred to calls in arrears account. Again and again I am saying it is important that first 15 minutes you read the question paper very, very carefully. And we all know that excess application money results when there is oversubscription. Otherwise there will be no excess application money. And when application money is received in lump sum, you should use the account share application and allotment account or debenture application and allotment account. But when it is not in lump sum, then share application account, debentures application account. Forfeited shares account is credited with the amount of share capital called up to the date of forfeiture. Up to the date of forfeiture. This is important. And share capital will be debited by the amount called up to the forfeiture. Now you see how important the language is. We say, question is, what is the maximum amount of discount that can be allowed on reissue of forfeited shares? What is the amount? Amount forfeited. That is the maximum. But this question can be in the other way also. What is the minimum amount at which the forfeited shares can be allotted, reissued? Question is same. There that it is maximum discount is amount forfeited, and here what is the minimum amount? Which whatever is the difference between the face value and the shares forfeited. This kind of questions are possible, and this you can attempt with authority once you have the concept clarity. Theory is equally important as your numericals are. 20% of the paper will be remembering based questions. So 20% of the paper is going to have remembering based questions. So that means you have to remember. New definitions in the Companies Act have come. Authorized share capital, issued share capital, paid up capital, subscribed capital. If you can reproduce what definition is given in the Companies Act, produce that. But if you are not able to, don't worry about it. State that in your own words. But meaning conveyed should be same what is written in the Act. So you don't have to pressure your mind, but you must understand. Discount allowed on reissue of forfeited is debited to shares forfeited account. Balance amount of reissued share is transferred to capital reserve. ये entry मत भूलना end में. If the journal entry is asked, pass the journal entry or transfer to capital reserve. और capital reserve कहाँ दिखाएंगे in the balance sheet? Reserves and surplus. DRR should be created, which should be at least 25% of the nominal amount of the outstanding debentures. At least 25%. But if the question says that redemption is out of profit, then 100%. Also possible, language is molded. It says the company earned sufficient profit, but instead of declaring dividend, it decided to redeem the debentures. So that also means it is out of profit. And third situation can be where the amount of DRR is given in the question. So that amount should be transferred to DRR. But remember, if it has an opening balance given in the question, you have to pass entry only for the balance. So 3 situations. Question is silent, transfer 25%. 30-40% मत कर देना, क्योंकि उनको आप कहोगे कि at least word लिखा है, at least 25%. But look at it from the examiner's point of view. Examiner may think that the student does not know the provision. So transfer only 25%. 100% in the case redemption is out of profits. And thirdly, if the question states the amount of DRR, then transfer that much amount. Companies exempt from creating DRR. कौन सी हैं? All India financial institutions regulated by RBI. और दूसरा बैंक, National Housing Bank. Third, banking companies or other financial institutions which are regulated by RBI. और एक और exemption है.
Housing financing.
When the debentures are fully convertible. तो ये बड़ा ध्यान रखने वाली बात है जब एंट्रीज आप पास करो DRR. सबसे पहले आप देखो whether it falls in the exemption category or not. और उसके बाद उसकी एंट्रीज आप पास करो. And when the companies which are not required to create DRR are not required to invest also in debenture redemption investment. Right? ये बड़ा ध्यान रखना. DRI is at least 15% of the debentures to be redeemed during the financial year. During the financial year, 1st April से 31st March, जितने debentures redeem होने हैं, उसका 15%, उसकी face value का 15% should be invested in debenture redemption investment on or before word use हुआ है 30th of April of this year. ये ध्यान रखना, अगर 16-17 की redemption है, उसकी इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑन और बिफोर 30th April 2016. And once all the debentures are redeemed, the amount of DRR will be transferred to general reserve. Entries for purchase of own debentures. Syllabus में क्या है? Purchase of own debentures for immediate cancellation. So even if the question is silent, that means they have been purchased for immediate cancellation. Cancellation entries भी पास करनी पड़ेगी. अब इसमें slight change है. Compartment exam में CBSE ने जो solution दिया उसमें थोड़ा सा change किया इसमें. So we must share it with you because in the books you will not find. पहले हम क्या करते थे? Own debentures account debit to bank with the purchase cost plus expenses. अब उन्होंने CBSE ने कर दिया own debentures account with the cost, expenses on purchase of own debentures debit with the expense amount and to bank. And thereafter cancellation. Say 10% debentures account debit, own debentures account debit to expense on purchase of own debentures and to gain, और अगर लॉस है तो डेबिट हो जाए. एक चीज इस केस में ध्यान रखना कि अगर डिबेंचर्स प्रीमियम पर रिडीम होने हैं, debentures can be redeemed at a premium. When own debentures are cancelled, in that case premium account should also be debited. Comparative common size, जो आपको आइटम्स दी हुई हैं इन दी क्वेश्चन, ट्रांसफर ओनली दोज आइटम्स टू कंपैरेटिव और कॉमन साइज. Theory I said is equally important. Revenue from operations. What is revenue from operations?
Sales.
Net sales. If I was the examiner, I will give you 0. Why? These are only examples of revenue from operations. You have to define what is revenue from operations. It is the revenue earned by the company from its principal revenue producing activity. Cash flow में पढ़ते हो ना, cash flow from operating activities, उसको mix करो. Revenue from operations is revenue earned by the company from its principal revenue producing company or activities, such as net sales. नहीं डिफरेंस आता है आपका जो 99 100 की बातें करते हैं ना हम, तो नेक्स्ट आपको ये डिटरमिन करना है कि क्वेश्चन की रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. क्वेश्चन से गिव एग्जांपल ऑफ रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम ऑपरेशन. इट्स फाइन, राइट, नेट सेल्स. But it says what is revenue from operation, then you must define it and also give the example. So revenue from operations convert only the given information. In common size statement of profit and loss, state revenue from operation is taken as 100. Common size में revenue from operation 100 होगा. All other income expenses will be percentage of revenue from operation. So total income can be more than 100 also. In cash flow, current year's proposed dividend and interim dividend is added to net profit before interest and extraordinary items, and under financing activity, previous year's proposed dividend will be shown as outflow and interim dividend of the current year. Why? Because interim dividend is declared and paid by the board, and proposed dividend is proposed by the board and approved by the shareholders at the annual general meeting. That means after the financial year is over. So previous year's proposed dividend must have been approved, and that will be shown as outflow. Extraordinary items. These are always shown separately in the cash flow. They can either relate to operating activity or investing activity or financing activity. So if it will be added to net profit and shown separately under operating activity if it relates to operating activity or investing activity or financing activity. What are operating activities? Definition याद रखनी बहुत important है. अगर आप उसको याद रखोगे आप बड़ा easily कर लोगे adjustment. और operating activities are those activities which are the principal revenue producing activities of the enterprise, and this is important, and which are not investing or financing activities. So all those activities, they do not fall into investing or financing category, will be shown under operating. For example, winning from a lottery, कहाँ show करेंगे इसको? Go to the definition. It is neither investing nor financing, but it is extraordinary. Because it is not financing nor investing, it will have operating activities as an extraordinary if the amount is large. But anyway, for you, you show it as extraordinary. So you will determine which activities are, which items are extraordinary, and whether they relate to operating, investing or financing. Current investments are taken as marketable securities. So when they are taken as marketable securities, where do we show it? Cash and cash equivalent. कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट की डेफिनेशन भी पूछ सकते हैं, बहुत बार पूछी भी गई है कि व्हाट आर कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स. कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स आर, कैन यू डिफाइन? हाईली लिक्विड, somebody else would like to attempt? Cash equivalents are those which can be converted into cash and has minimum risk of change in its value. एग्जाम्पल में उन्होंने कहा कि प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स वगैरह जो 3 महीने के अंदर, परचेज के 3 महीने के अंदर रियलाइज होने हैं, एंड देयर इज नो चेंज there is unlikely change in the value, then it is to be taken as marketable security. Definitions you must remember. कैश फ्लो में भी जो ट्रेंड है, 2 क्वेश्चंस आते हैं 1 मार्क, 6 मार्क्स का कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट बनाना है, तो 1 मार्क क्वेश्चन में पॉसिबिलिटी है। अभी तक कितने क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं बोर्ड में? 23। अगर ज़्यादा कम भी हो जाए तो परेशान मत होना, इट इज़ अ पॉसिबिलिटी। ये मत सोचना कि क्वेश्चन पेपर में मिस प्रिंट है, टोटल वही होगा जो मार्क्स की एलोकेशन पहले देखी। क्वेश्चन नंबर्स कैन बी मोर और लेस, और अभी तक जो ट्रेंड है इट इज 23 क्वेश्चंस। अनलेस स्पेसिफाइड इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आर टू बी टेकन एज ट्रेड इन्वेस्टमेंट्स। कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड वर्कआउट करते हो, ट्रेड इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आर इंक्लूडेड इन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड, so unless and until stated otherwise, they are to be taken as trade investments. And what are trade investments? They are the investments made by the company in another company for the furtherance of its own business. आप अपनी लैंग्वेज में भी लिख सकते हैं, but it should convey the same meaning. ये तो था जो कॉमन एरर्स हम स्टूडेंट्स कमिट करते हैं। बी वेरी केयरफुल, फर्स्ट 15 मिनट्स इन्वेस्ट इन रीडिंग दी क्वेश्चन पेपर वेरी थॉरली। कुछ जो मैं समझता हूँ कि इम्पोर्टेंट हैं, यू शुड टेक केयर ऑफ। अंडर 4 फीचर ऑफ शेयर्स, जहाँ स्टूडेंट गलती करता है, शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट इज डेबिटेड विद द अमाउंट कॉल्ड अप टू द डेट ऑफ 4 फीचर, ये हमेशा ध्यान रखना। कॉल्स इन एरियर अकाउंट यूज कर रहे हो तो क्रेडिट करोगे कॉल्स इन एरियर अकाउंट, और अगर कॉल्स इन एरियर अकाउंट नहीं यूज कर रहे तो रिस्पेक्टिव कॉल अकाउंट। Forfeited shares account is credited with the amount received by the company and forfeited by it. Non-amount not received is credited to respective call account. Debited होना चाहिए, credited if the arrears amount is not transferred to calls in arrears account. So calls in arrears account कब यूज करोगे? जब क्वेश्चन में दिया है, उसके बगैर मत करना। We have to answer the questions from the point of view of the examiner also, what that examiner will think. Debentures में we quickly recapitulate. A company shall create DRR out of profits available for payment of dividend, and the amount credited to DRR will not be used for purposes other than redemption of debentures. 18 rule says that at least 25% should be transferred to debenture redemption reserve. ध्यान रखना 25%, if it is out of profit 100%, if the question states that much amount. And investment 15% of the amount of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed. On or before 30th of September. अगर इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेट करना हो, डेट इज नॉट गिवन, इंटरेस्ट ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट and the date of investment is not given in the question, you should take it as 1st April. आपकी कैलकुलेशन में एक स्टेप बच जाएगा उसमें, क्योंकि नहीं तो आप 11/12 करोगे, 30th अप्रैल किया तो बेस्ट है 1st April कर दो। This we discussed. If the question is silent, transfer 25%. If it is out of profit, transfer 100%. And if question amount is given in the question, transfer that much amount. अब इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करके बताओ कौन करेगा? You have only 2 minutes.
ये क्वेश्चन को आप बड़ा ध्यान से देखें। जो कहते हैं ये बात जो कह रहे हैं ये बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ टीआरआर को क्रिएट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। हाथ खड़ा करना जरा एक बार।
तो फिर तो मानना ही पड़ेगा।
उनको मानना, बजा दो ताली इनके लिए एक बार जरा जोरदार। टीआरआर को क्रिएट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि क्यों नहीं है? बैंकिंग। अच्छा, अब आप इसकी रिडम्पशन की एंट्री बोलो। तालियां बजाओ यार, एक इसको इनाम मिला है।
वेरी गुड,
बिल्कुल
वेरी
ठीक है।
गुड।
डिबेंचर अकाउंट को डेबिट किया, अभी रुक जा, अभी इनाम मिला, अभी मैं नहीं बोलूंगा, अभी बैठ रहा हूँ। डिबेंचर अकाउंट डेबिट टू डिबेंचर होल्डर और डिबेंचर होल्डर डेबिट टू बैंक अकाउंट, ठीक है ना? आप ही ने किया। ये डिबेंचर को डेबिट करने की क्यों जरूरत पड़ी? और इसको और थोड़ा सा
reduce the liabilities.
As our liability is reducing, so we are debiting. As our liability is
यस,
reducing,
ज्यादा चांस है क्योंकि बीइंग ए लायबिलिटी क्रेडिट की गई थी। अब इस लायबिलिटी की जरूरत नहीं है, आप डिबेंचर जीतता देखो तो डिबेंचर को डेबिट करना पड़ गया। डिबेंचर डेबिट हो गया, डिबेंचर होल्डर्स क्रेडिट हो गया। लेने लगा तो डिबेंचर होल्डर डेबिट हो गया है। अच्छा, एक बात और बताओ, मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत अच्छी किया बेटे। एक बार डिबेंचर होल्डर को क्रेडिट किया, दूसरे एंड के ऊपर आपने डिबेंचर होल्डर को डेबिट कर दिया। आखिर इसका क्या रीजन पड़ा? आप बड़ा गलत, इसको ये पता लगा कि एक बार मुझे क्रेडिट करने की नौबत आ गई और दूसरे ही हाथ के ऊपर मुझे डिबेंचर होल्डर को डेबिट करने की जरूरत पड़ गई। आखिर क्या जरूरत पड़ गई?
इन्होंने रास्ता ब्लॉक कर दिया है।
So firstly, we need to credit them. That is the time when.
Debenture holder will become the creditor.
Yes, sir.
Now the
Then
debtor.
now we will make the
That's
payment.
why the credit and debit both the aspects are coming.
And another reason is that payment can only be made to the entity or individual. So it cannot be, entry cannot be debentures account debit to bank. Good. Cancellation of own debentures we have discussed. Now CBSE says pass the entries like this: own debentures account debit, expenses own debentures account debit to bank. And when you cancel it, debit say 10% debentures account debit to own debentures account, to expense on purchase of own debentures account, to gain on cancellation. और gain on cancellation कहाँ ट्रांसफर करेंगे? कैपिटल अकाउंट। वो एंट्री मत भूलना, लास्ट एंट्री। So I'll skip this. Cash flow में I said remember the definitions and apply them. कहीं confusion होगा cash flow statement बनाते हुए। Normally student को confusion आती है operating activities में। तो ये definition immediately should come to your mind. It is, they are the principal revenue producing activities of the enterprise and those activities which are not investing or financing. So straight away apply whether it is investing or financing. If the answer is in negative, that means it is part of operating. And then decide whether it is extraordinary or it is not extraordinary. If it is extraordinary, again add it and show it after payment of tax.
सभी लोग देख लीजिए, हमारी डेफिनेशन पढ़ रहे हैं आप लोग सब अच्छी तरीके से, सबने देख ली है। एक क्वेश्चन कैश फ्लो में पूछूं, कैश फ्लो में ये तीनों जगह डेफिनेशनों को बड़े ध्यान से देखें। सर एक क्वेश्चन आना नहीं है ना, एक क्वेश्चन, इनमें एक क्वेश्चन जरा सोच के बताइए। ये 3 एक्टिविटीज हैं कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट में, कहते हैं इट फैसिलिटेट टू इवैल्यूएट कैश परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ कैश फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस। ठीक है, यानी कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट फैसिलिटेट टू इवैल्यूएट द कैश फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। सबने मेरा क्वेश्चन सुन भी लिया होगा। कैश फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस, मैंने कैश फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस का ध्यान से सुनना। इन तीनों एक्टिविटीज में से कौन सी एक्टिविटी इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से यूज की जा सकती है? बिकॉज ये क्वेश्चन बड़ा क्लियर है। सोच के जो ये बताया स्टूडेंट, a cash flow statement facilitate to evaluate the cash financial performance of the an organization। तीनों एक्टिविटीज में से कौन सी एक्टिविटीज, और दोनों भी हो सकती हैं, तीनों भी हो सकती हैं, सोच के बताएं।
वो बताएंगे।
हाँ जी, बोल बच्चे।
It will be all the 3 activities. It will be all the 3 activities: operating, financing, and investing.
तीनों आप एक ही पे रह गए, ये तीनों पर आ गए, कर लो बात। हाँ जी, to evaluate to cash financial performance of an organization। मैं अगर आगे बोलूंगा तो फिर तो आप बहुत जल्दी पकड़ जाएंगे। अब वो बतानी एक्टिविटी कौन सी, कैश फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस।
Excuse me, sir. I think it's operating activities.
फाइनेंसिंग, ये तो सारे
Operating activities.
ऑपरेटिंग। और कोई है? कोई तीनों से बाहर भी हो जाए, तीनों से बाहर। और ये करेक्ट आंसर था ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटी। जोरदार तालियां बजाओ। मैंने आपसे कहा था कि कैश फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस हो के वो बिजनेस ऑपरेशंस के लिए तैयार की हैं, और कैश के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से तो वो ऑपरेटिंग है। ये तीनों एक्टिविटी के ऊपर ही बड़े क्वेश्चन बन जाएंगे, देखते रहना।
नहीं है यार।
अब जरा इन्हीं एक्टिविटी में देखिए जरा, इन तीनों एक्टिविटीज में से एक ऐसी एक्टिविटी है जिससे आप कैश बजटिंग का जो डिसीजन है उसको इवैल्यूएट करते हैं। कैश बजटिंग, ये फाइनेंसिंग सभी ने बोल दिया तो अभी ठीक है। अच्छा, एक बात बताइए, किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की, आप बड़े ध्यान से सुनना, क्वेश्चन अब टेढ़ा है, इनमें से कौन सी एक्टिविटी ऐसी है जिसके बेसिस के ऊपर कैश फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन को इवैल्यूएट किया जा सकता है? कैश फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन, बच्चों के
Investing activity.
Investing activity. Investing.
Financing.
Financing.
Operating.
Operating. Investing. ये करेक्ट आंसर है इसमें लगातार तालीम इन्वेस्टिंग और फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटी के बेसिस के ऊपर लेकिन अभी सर ये एक देना नहीं है अभी क्या है मामला क्या है बेटे तेरा आंसर तो बिल्कुल करेक्ट है ये फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन को इवैल्यूएट कर देंगी एक्टिविटी ठीक है और फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन जो शो करती है उस स्टेटमेंट का नाम बताओ बैलेंस शीट बैलेंस शीट का दूसरा नाम बताओ बैलेंस शीट एक और नाम से भी जानी जाती है
पोजीशन स्टेटमेंट
देखो नाम मिलेगा तो पता नहीं ठीक है अगर ये तो आंसर करेक्ट है मैं तेरे से गले भी मिलूंगा अच्छी तरह से इनमें से कौन सी एक्टिविटी बैलेंस शीट के किस पार्ट को इंडिकेट करेंगी अब साइड नहीं है बैलेंस शीट के सेक्शन है पार्ट कौन सी एक्टिविटी किस पार्ट को इंडिकेट करेंगी कि आप भी इन्वेस्टिंग से खाली बताओगी और लोग
फिर है एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी आइटम दीज आर इनकम्स भी हो सकती हैं एक्सपेंसेस भी हो सकती हैं that arise from events or transactions that are clearly distinct from the ordinary activities of the enterprise and therefore are not expected to reoccur frequently. ये आपको डिसाइड इस डेफिनेशन के बेस के ऊपर करना होगा वो एक्टिविटी ट्रांजैक्शन वो इनकम भी हो सकती है एक्सपेंस भी हो सकता है और जो रेगुलरली नहीं होना अगर एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आए कि कोई एक ट्रांजैक्शन बताओ इन इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी विच इज एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी क्या होगी इंश्योरेंस क्लेम
एडवर्टाइजमेंट एक्सपेंसेस
और आप बोलो
लॉस ड्यू टू नेचुरल कैलामिटी
यस
एडवर्टाइजमेंट एक्सपेंसेस
how they are investing
extraordinary
you see go into the definition I said example of investing
you said extraordinary
नहीं extraordinary में सबसे पहले you see you have to fit it into the definition extraordinary okay if it is a large expense but still that's debatable but whether it is investing no so it cannot be it is neither investing nor financing so it will have to be shown under operating if you think it is extraordinary then yes as a separate item और extraordinary नहीं है appreciation नहीं you see purchased goodwill is accounted but self-generated goodwill is not accounted acquisition you see that is an asset that's not extraordinary it is insurance claim was the right answer from upstairs अब आप ही बताओ कि फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटी में कोई एक एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी है। वो तो रूटीन है।
Demonetization of cash. Demonetization.
That's innovative answer, yes.
Payment for buyback of shares. Issue of bonus shares.
Bonus shares, it does not involve cash. So it will not appear in the cash flow statement.
Payment for buyback of shares.
Yes, buyback of shares is answer is correct.
The profit on sale of shares in which company has been listed.
Where do we show the shares? Investing. So it will not part of the financing. So buyback of shares, own shares, it is extraordinary because it will not happen regularly in the life of the company. If we have profit on sale of asset, of investments since they are shown in investing activity. Therefore, any gain will also be shown there. But it is still not extraordinary. So insurance claim on loss of asset is a better example. So ऐसे questions possible हैं because it is all, now the question paper is mostly application based. वो तो वैसे कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट है. Then it is if there is a loss. So for now we are taking the example further. If there is a loss on demonetization, cash could not be deposited in the bank, so it has become useless. So we will write it off in the profit and loss. But now where to show it? Since it is not an investing activity, not a financing activity, so it will still be shown under operating activity. हमें एलिमिनेट करना है वो डेफिनेशंस के बेस में. जब कोई क्लासिफिकेशन में प्रॉब्लम आए, रिमेंबर दोज 3 डेफिनेशंस एंड इमीडिएटली इशू विल बी रिजॉल्व्ड. प्रोविजन फॉर डाउटफुल डेट. प्रोविजन फॉर डाउटफुल डेट में इट मे बी टेकन एज अ नॉन कैश एक्सपेंडिचर. If you don't want to take it as a non-cash expenditure, adjustment जब करेंगे trade receivables की, उसमें आप working capital में करते हैं, उसको net पे करते हैं. If you are taking it as a non-cash, then provision will be shown under net profit before tax and extraordinary items वहाँ पर, and then trade receivable will be at the gross amount. But you can take it as at the net amount also. Then you don't have to make the adjustment in the upper part. All debtors are good. ये एक बड़ा confusion रहता है कि अगर एक adjustment दिया all debtors are good. What do we do? What do we do in cash? In cash flow, we are talking only of cash flow right now. So all debtors are good. And there is a provision for doubtful debts. No adjustment is to be made. Why? Because cash flow statement is made from the financial statements. If the all the debtors are good, then excess provision should have been written back in the profit and loss account. So if it is given as an adjustment in the cash flow statement, don't make any adjustment. Proposed dividend we have discussed for current year, it is added back. For previous year, it is deducted. And interim dividend paid during the year will be taken as outflow. Dividend given as additional information, ये तभी possible है जब स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस हो. इफ इट इज अ बैलेंस शीट, दिस एडजस्टमेंट शुड नॉट बी देयर बिकॉज वी हैव टू प्रोवाइड फॉर प्रपोज्ड डिविडेंड. एंड व्हेन वी प्रोवाइड फॉर प्रपोज्ड डिविडेंड, इट विल बी अंडर करंट लायबिलिटीज एज शॉर्ट टर्म प्रोविजंस. प्रोविजन फॉर टैक्स, अगर अकाउंट बनेगा, अगर एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन दी है, इफ इन द बैलेंस शीट it is given provision for tax and additional information is given tax paid, then you should prepare a account and determine how much was the outflow. Interest received and paid by a non-financial company, कहाँ show करेंगे? It is an investing activity and paid is normal. But when there is an interest on overdraft and or cash credit, overdraft and cash credit is shown under financing. So that means interest also on overdraft and cash credit has to be shown under financing. Profit and loss में होगा, आगे ऊपर adjust करेंगे, net profit before on from operations, sorry, cash flow from operations में it will be added back, and under the financing activity it will be shown as outflow. We can skip this and come to partnership.